training. Been doing this for over 2 decades, not as a hobby, but as a 100-hour-a-week full-time career. We're based in Florida right now. If you've been around for a long time, up until 5 years ago, we were up in New England. Huge training center, 50 dogs, 15,000 square feet. Right now, I'm doing everything out of my home, only doing 4 to 5 dogs at a time myself. And I only do behavior mods, serious cases. But obviously we also do basic obedience, on leash and off leash. But my big thing is for my in-person stuff is behavior mod. If you need simple stuff, that's what the greatest thing about the community is, and I'll talk to you more about that. I don't want to be sitting here selling you, but I am going to let you know about different wonderful training opportunities because people really need help. The way we work with eCollar is this. This is a brand new dog. This dog has been here. Maddie has been with us for 4 days now. This is day 5?
Yes.
Okay. Maddie's been with us for 4 days.
I think only 3 actually. I don't remember.
Okay.
Not that long.
Like just a couple of days. And Maddie is owned by a wonderful couple. They had a baby recently. The dog went after another dog and they got nervous, rightly so. And the dog's now, this was about a month ago, they contacted us, 6 weeks ago. We usually have a big waiting list. The dog's with us now, and what we're doing is this. We spent the last 3 days just doing some basic leash training. So how we do obedience and behavior mod are 2 different things. So obedience is teaching obedience commands. Sit, down, place, recall, and heel, and kennel up. Those are your obedience commands. But we also do a lot of behavior mod. We also do leadership and state of mind. So we do all of it, and it's all connected, and it's all important. The least important thing is actually obedience. To actually have a great dog, the least important thing is actually obedience. Your dog doesn't need to know any obedience command, and you can have a great dog. And your dog can also know every obedience command and be a horrific and dangerous dog. So it's not about obedience, but we will use obedience as a leverage, and I'll explain as that goes. So what's important? Dog state of mind, leadership, household management, there's always some management, and then do you know how to stop unwanted behavior? So she's a very nervous dog, so don't be surprised that she's nervous. So keep in mind, social media is lying to you.
We have a lot of new people on
So
here.
what social media is doing is they're making it look like every dog out there loves to learn. It's easy to train them. Everything is fast, flashy, and exciting. And a dog never struggles at all. They never look nervous. They never look concerned at all. And then when we show a video of a dog with tools on and shaking and nervous, everybody assumes it's the tools, when it's actually either the dog or the dog learning, or we're not allowing the dog to misbehave, such as jumping up on people, such as reacting. If you saw her drop off, anytime anybody comes into the room or the house, she does a bark and hold. And we have a video of that, which is bark, 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 bark. And she'll go after a dog. But meanwhile, what you've seen in the last 3 days, if you go back in our social media, because we document everything, you'll see her actually being walked by Angelo. You'll see her being walked by Joelle, walked by myself. You'll see her walking with other dogs. And she couldn't be around them before. And she couldn't walk really well. So you'll see all that. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to start showing a combination of obedience but also leadership and why things are really important on the leadership spectrum. Okay? Now, to make life easier for her, if you see in a lot of our videos, most dogs actually have slip leads on. That's just because Joelle and myself and Angelo have a certain skill set where it's actually not that hard for us to work these dogs with a basic slip lead. The reason why we always tool dogs up for videos, though, is because it helps the dog, which in turn will help you. Because we want to make everything easiest for you, the consumer, not necessarily the dog. At some point, we actually want to make things difficult for the dog, which goes against what a lot of people say. You want the dog to always win. Sure, but you also want the dog to learn how to troubleshoot things. That's how they get over a lot of their nervousness, by the way. Also, when you see her working outside, like over the course of, her board and train here, you'll see even today, she does much better outside the house than inside the house, which is the case for lots of dogs. Lots of dogs don't do well inside homes right off the bat. Now, if we just let her walk around this house, she'd do fine. But the fact that she has to, maybe right now, go back into that might make her nervous. Not just this dog, but a lot of dogs. Notice how I didn't say sit. Leadership. I'm a human, you're a dog. When I have the leash in my hand and I'm standing here, you should be either sitting or laying down. Now, if I told you to down, you shouldn't be sitting. But I didn't tell her anything, so she should have picked one of those. Sit or down. How do we teach that and reinforce it? Well, she was standing, so I just popped up that. And that was, by the way, not a correction. Some of the stuff I might sound egotistical, I don't mean it to be, but I talk about punishment, I talk about corrections all the time. I've been showing them online. You'll know when I correct a dog. It's obvious. Because it's either a high-level e-collar, a bonker, or a very firm leash pop. It's not that. It's not that. Those aren't corrections at all. An e-collar can be used for both. You could also use an e-collar as a punisher first. So for instance, she was not barking in her kennel. But if she was on day one, she could be corrected with an e-collar before she even was introduced to an e-collar. You can correct a dog for jumping on you, counter surfing, trying to break out of the crate, barking, whining, resource guarding, before you teach any obedience whatsoever. You don't need to condition the dog to the e-collar to stop all those things. You don't need to build a relationship with the dog to stop all those things. You stop them immediately. That's a reason why our house is always quiet no matter how many dogs are here. It doesn't matter if she doesn't like other dogs. She has dogs on either side of her in the kennel. And she's not allowed to make any noise. She can't growl. She can't bark at them. No dog is allowed to here. If your dog at home is doing it, again, egotistical here, if it came here, it would stop immediately, which means you can also do it. I don't use a lot of food for training because food hides flaws. Got it? Food hides flaws. Most of these dogs will, well, first of all, she will respond to food with training. A lot of the dogs we have, though, will not. Also, I don't need a prong collar and I don't need an e-collar to teach what you're going to learn in these next couple days. I can do it all with a slip lead. We're not training her inside this house with an e-collar so she listens inside this house. We're training her so she can be an on-leash and off-leash dog outside with high levels of distraction. So if your bar with your dog is really low, there's not a lot of tools you really need. If your bar is really high, your level of expectation is high, you want to do lots of stuff with your dog, hiking, public transportation, road trips, off-leash parks, the beach, swimming in the sea, restaurants, cafes, farmers markets, having people come to your house, you bringing your dog to other people's houses. When your level of expectation is higher, notice how I didn't mention any tricks or sports, because that's not what I do. I only do family pet stuff. So I don't do choreographed activities like bite work, agility, dock diving. And none of those things are wrong or bad. That's just not what I do. I do more real world stuff. Well, I only do real world stuff where things are not choreographed and we never know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to walk by. Off-leash dog, on-leash dog, kid running up, person running up to our dog, car, truck, landscaper. We don't know. So we prepare these dogs for everything. You're often going to hear me talk about the dog's state of mind. Most dogs, when they get highly aroused, they do bad stuff. So highly aroused, more leash reactivity, more jumping, more separation anxiety, more overall aggression, more destruction, more counter surfing. So you'll often see that when I'm saying good, I'm just saying good. I'm not having a party for the dog. All right? I'm not doing jackpots. I'm not loving on the dog. Because I'm trying to create a calm state of mind. Also, with a nervous dog, that makes them more nervous and more apt to bite. We see that all the time. Now, once they're trained, you're going to see me do, oh my gosh, look at you, you're so cute, aren't you? Why? Because I'm proofing the obedience. Because when we're at a cafe, and we show that every day, because Joel and I go to, well, 6 days a week we go to a cafe, they're closed on Sundays. We go to Mommy G's with dogs. What do you think happens when the dogs are on a downstay at the cafe? Everybody walks up to the dog and goes, oh my gosh, you're so cute, can I pet you? So we want the dog to just go, no. And not be excited to see them. And we tell people, no, you can't. Thank you for asking, but no, you can't.
But notice how right now, Maddie didn't move, because we've already done a lot of that, believe it or not, just with the leash.
Just with leash.
So the last 3 days that we've been working her,
Just leash.
getting her ready for e-collar,
Mm-hmm.
it's just been leash work, and yeah, lots of proofing.
Mhm.
So she's already sort of dummy proofed just on the leash.
Just on the leash.
The e-collar becomes the second layer of
Right.
training, which you're going to see, so that we can eventually have off-leash reliability.
Right.
Because no matter how well trained Maddie is on leash, you have no communication system unless that leash is on. If she's 30 feet away and decides to blow off a
Mhm.
recall, what can I do at that
Right.
point? Other than hope and pray,
Yep.
right? That's why we e-collar train.
Right.
So we can eventually have her off leash.
Also, or in the next room.
Yeah, even in the backyard. Dogs play keep
Yeah,
away in the
backyard,
backyard all
right.
the time.
Some folks were like, I'll never have my dog off leash, I don't need off leash recall. Dogs don't come inside from your backyard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll hunker down behind the couch. Or they'll hide underneath the bed. Or they'll run up the stairs into a bedroom. Okay?
So just for clarification, any dog that's going to e-collar training should have baseline obedience already.
Correct.
This is not a basic obedience course. So if you're like, my dog doesn't even know place, you have to go back a step,
Right.
which is like our green to graduate course.